This video is sponsored by Strawberry.me.
Are we going to stand around here all day? Or are we going to fight?
Badassery is an art form that will never lose its flair. So I'm back with the top 25 most badass scenes in movies, Volume 4.
I think to myself, ooh, yeah.
Well, it may be a cliche, but after watching this scene, I guess you could say that age really is just a number. Nobody has a lot of memorable sequences, most notably the bus fight. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at an old man flexing harder than most Giga Chads. David was played brilliantly by Christopher Lloyd, and if we ever doubted that he was Hutch's dad, he proved it in this superb sequence where he takes down a couple of henchmen in fabulous fashion. It's mere deceit on display, but man, he sure does it like an expert. Bro was definitely not as badass in the Back to the Future films, but yeah, David was yet another great addition to Nobody. Like, this movie is essentially as if the creators told each other, hey, you know what, we should make a John Wick movie, but where the dog doesn't die, and neither does his wife or any of his friends. But yeah, that caretaker probably needs to be a bit more proactive when it comes to examining the patient's room.
Come on, Davey. Please turn that shit down.
Stop around! Give me the phone and take the money.
Drop the money and run, boy.
I think it's safe to say that we shouldn't mess with a guy who wants his phone back. Guy Ritchie sure has a knack for making a certain type of movie, and The Gentleman is no different. Charlie Hunnam did a great job of playing Raymond, who just wanted to get the phone with the evidence. Of course, there had to be some obstacles in the way, and here it's in the form of the Naughty Boys gang.
I'm sure you're all road men, gangsters, proper naughty boys.
Yes, that's what bro calls them. Anyway, these kids thought they could intimidate a dude who's fought kaijus in Pacific Rim, and they got exactly what was coming to them when Raymond decided to let Heckler and Koch do the talking. Those warning shots were all he needed, and the way he shoots away the final lad was peak British humour. Movies like this one really need to be in circulation more often. I mean, there's a reason Netflix chose to do a spin-off of it, right?
What are you doing, Dave?
Hold him somewhere. I'm trying. Give me a second.
You looking for trouble, mother? You came to the right place.
Boy, you'd think there were 10 of me.
Sometimes the fist trumps the gun, especially when you have a brother waiting to let out some rage. The Howard Bros may not be outstanding citizens, but they sure know how to wreck bullies, which is shown in full display by Toby. Tana may have just sat there and watched, but I'd say Toby did the jerks a favour, because they would have been smoked had he not intervened. Honestly, Chris Pine and Ben Foster don't get the credit they deserve for their stunning performances in Hell or High Water. They crushed it with phenomenal acting, which complimented Jeff Bridges too. But man, it was hilarious to see how Chris Pine just calmly walks over to the other side of the car to let the other dude know it's his turn now, even though he didn't exactly do anything wrong. Bro caught strays for no reason at all. Ever feel like you're working hard but not really moving forward? Like you're spinning your wheels in your career or life? I sure have, especially when it comes to managing such a popular and loved YouTube channel. However, even a person as busy as myself was able to overcome this thanks to today's sponsor, Strawberry.me. It's like therapy for your career, except instead of looking back, your coach helps you look forward. You meet online, one-on-one, with someone who's trained to help you get clarity on what you want, set goals, build a plan, and actually follow through. My coach was very welcoming and understanding. She helped me figure out what was really holding me back, and we created a plan I could stick to. We had weekly video sessions plus quick check-ins in between, and honestly, it's through those experiences that I'm trying out so many new topics on the channel. Strawberry.me makes coaching affordable and flexible, so it fits your schedule and your budget. All their coaches are certified, and you can switch anytime if you don't find the right fit. So if you're ready to turn your goals into reality, visit strawberry.me/TV Regent and claim your special offer. Get the right coach and make it happen with Strawberry.
You really want me to shake your hand? I insist. If you insist.
It's not every day that Leonardo DiCaprio gets no handshake, but if he's playing one of the most spiteful characters over the past couple of decades, then you can excuse Dr. Schultz for losing his cool.
I couldn't resist.
The sheer refusal to extend a basic courtesy spoke volumes about the Chad he was, and the fact that he'd rather die than shake Calvin's hand was a strong statement. Yeah, he did die shortly after, but our man did his job, and we can say with confidence that he went with pride. I know there's a mad shootout that follows this, but my only concern is Schultz being the exact opposite of Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. Christoph Waltz really is the MVP. Side note, I love how the bullets didn't just sound like Western films, but also felt like cannonballs screaming at you when they closed in.
In Chickasaw County, a deal ain't done until the two parties have shook hands. Even after all that paper signing don't mean shit. You don't shake my hand.
If I don't shake your hand, you gonna throw away $12,000?
Seeing a rampaging maniac is probably not what you hope to see in an elevator, but such is life at the TV region, isn't it? Hardcore Henry was a unique film, showcasing its entire runtime from the first-person perspective of the lead character, and it led for a pretty intensive viewing experience, especially the action. The reason this sequence is such a flex is because Henry doesn't wait for anyone. He just goes nuts, kind of like the Hulk, but without the extra green radiation. It was such a neat trick to see him shooting through the door as if to say, yeah, you ain't getting away from me so easily. The choreography is out of this world, and kudos to everyone who played Henry in order to make it seem as realistic as possible. Man, I love how a movie that's shot entirely in first person has a better sense of positioning and spatial awareness than most normal movie fight scenes. You actually have a better sense of where everything is relative to Henry than you would perhaps in Expendables films. No shade there though.
Everybody, get in the car! Get in the car!
Hand-to-hand combat and weapons may be cool and all, but sometimes you gotta flex that driving license. Yeah, Tyler wanted to show us that he was a lot more than a special combatant because those driving skills were out of this world. I mean, bro could have auditioned for Brad Pitt's F1 movie with that kind of technique. Of course, this is part of a longer take that seemingly looks like it's been done in one shot, and even if that's not true, the camera work is still insane. Tyler manages to display quick thinking as well as decisiveness here because most people would definitely freeze when they get surrounded like that, especially by cop cars. Bro was on the right side and he was still fighting the law. It's exciting, thrilling, and most importantly, it shows us that awesomeness isn't always proven with fist fighting. Little Ovi must have been wondering what he'd gotten himself into, but hey, Tyler did keep him safe, and that's what matters at the end of the day.
Put your belt on.
What belt?
Seatbelt.
It's been on. You drive like you're insane.
Hold tight.
Thank you.
Can I take that?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take that.
Rolando, this is my dad.
What's up, Mr. Laveau? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, let me holler at him for a second. Oh, let me talk to you, bro.
Man, if 50 Cent's gonna behave this way, then there's no one in their right mind who's gonna date his daughter. Den of Thieves has got some great shootout scenes, but the scene where Ensign has a little a talk with his daughter's boyfriend was one for the memory books. Bro doesn't show any kind of unwarranted rage, and he simply puts the poor fella in his place by taking him to a separate room.
For the past 16 years, my daughter's safety and protection has been my responsibility only. Now, for the first time in her life, I gotta hand you that responsibility. Don't f*** up.
I like how the mom just also went like, they're just going to talk, as if she doesn't know that Ensign has a whole army of muscle bros waiting on the other side of that door.
Don't worry about it,
Okay, we're just gonna talk.
It's a very clear message which is communicated without any violent actions. Also, the part where he dips the boyfriend's apparent pocket square has got to be one of the most humiliating things you can do to someone who's come to pick up his date. If somebody spoke to me like that, forget 11:30, I'd bring her back in 15 minutes.
All he's trying to say is it's wonderful to meet you, and he wants you to have a beautiful evening.
I'll see you at 11:30.
Yeah. Well, 11:30. Yeah, 11:30.
Good choice.
All right, stay calm, everybody. Don't touch nothing. My name is Cherokee Bill. Now let it be known that I don't particularly enjoy violence.
Say what you want about Cherokee Bill, one thing's for sure, the man loves a live audience. The train scene is a pretty memorable one from The Harder They Fall because in most cases, it's the only clip people talk about, apart from maybe the quick draw scene.
Count down from 5. 3.
Anyway, Buck's gang, led by Trudy Smith and Cherokee Bill, forcefully free Buck from a train, but not before they show us some style and sass. Bill was quite happy to accommodate his challenger, although he did make sure that he'd regret it mere seconds later. You know, I love his character mainly because he destroys the myth of the Wild West honor. Bill states this plainly through his actions and words, even when confronted by an honor-bound character. It's a nice way to deviate from the genre without exactly flipping it on its head. After all, who doesn't like a sassy cowboy, eh?
I said stop.
Put the weapon down, boy. I said put the gun down.
Mother.
You know, sometimes you have to speak to bullies in the only language they'll understand. Willard sure knows that, which is why he decided to show his son Arvin how to get it done. Also, I can understand his rage because it's his wife we're talking about here. Charlotte was very important to Willard, so he was never going to show any mercy. Man, I found it fascinating how nobody jumps in to stop Willard here. Not only is Bill Skarsgård a pretty imposing guy around 6'4" with lean muscle, but the way he stomps over to effortlessly beat the daylights out of the guy instantly told the surrounding folks that he's not to be messed with. They can only tell him to go away, probably so that he won't do more damage. And naturally, this also turns out to be a lesson for Arvin. I may never want to live in that era, but movies about the gritty 50s and 60s middle America sure are badass, aren't they?
What the hell happened here? Somebody run him over?
No, man. It was a fight. One guy took them all out in like seconds.
He's still in there. That's him.
It's no surprise nowadays when I say that Jack Reacher is a name that even the cops should fear, but that's mainly because we're familiar with Alan Ritchson's rendition of the character. People have forgotten that Tom Cruise played the exact same role in a movie back in 2018. Height issues notwithstanding, he did do a pretty good job, you know, and his badassery is on display once again when we see him talking to those sheriffs right after he did a number on those punks. First of all, bro has the confidence to blatantly chill at the diner right next to the scene of the crime, but more importantly, the way he talks to those sheriffs was absolute sigma.
2 things are gonna happen in the next 90 seconds.
Excuse me?
First, that phone over there is gonna ring. Second, you're gonna be wearing these cuffs on your way to prison.
This is aura farming at its finest, and the line delivery was splendid. Imagine being able to literally predict how the law's going to treat you, and you signal a freaking officer as if he's your cleaner or something. The arrogance is out of the world, but if you can justify it, no one's going to have a problem with you.
Who the hell are you? The guy you didn't count on.
Imagine killing the wrong people just for the sake of flexing. Well, nothing's beyond guys like Peacemaker and Bloodsport, so I guess this is very much characteristic of the Suicide Squad. Sure, you could say that those people lost their lives for nothing. How did those guys not see or hear what was happening? They were standing a few meters away but couldn't hear a guy being eaten, another being attacked by rats? Well, either way, it's a cool display of what the squad was capable of, but the highlight is definitely Peacemaker trying to one-up Bloodsport throughout the entire sequence.
Non-lethal. You lose. No one likes to show off.
Unless what they're showing off is dope as
Overall, it's a great improvement from the 2016 movie for sure, although I'm sure that one will get treated differently if the director gets to release his official cut.
You drinking tea? Oh.
Why did my people not alert me of your arrival?
We didn't see any people.
I didn't see anybody on the way to us.
I turned them into my mother in my head and killed them.
You gotta admit, Denzel Washington is a pro when it comes to delivering body blows and emotional damage. In the opening train sequence for Equalizer 2, he was able to not only take down multiple henchmen within mere seconds, but also violate their boss before and after the beatdown.
How about a man who kidnapped his own daughter and took her away from her American mother? An abusive man, so not a real man, with no intention of returning the child.
The part about an abusive man not being a real man is a cold line, and very appropriate too, so a man was already setting everything up for what was to follow. It's one of those rushed fights for sure, but whatever we saw in the first film, there was no need to spend so much time on NPCs. Plus, a man even had the confidence to allow his opposition a chance to choose what kind of pain he would like to experience. It may not be ideal, but when Robert McCall gives you a chance, you freaking take it. Plus, he was completely unscathed throughout the entire sequence, which only gives him more aura points.
Oh, my baby.
At number 13, we have a scene where the crowd favourite gets swatted like a fly. Yeah, Blood and Bone may not have set the box office on fire back in 2009, but it is a cult classic with multiple fights that are still popular today. The battle against Hammerman, for example, was such an abrupt moment. We thought this was going to be a tough fight, considering how the dude was showcased before the fight. However, he couldn't even get one hit in, and Bone completely dismantled him before the dude could even think about his counter. Michael Jai White is a beast, and scenes like this prove it to the T. It was pretty much like taking out the trash, but in this case, the trash is a giant bald dude. Also, shout out to Pinball for the line,
Because that's what his parents named him!
I mean, it really was the best he could do, and yet somehow it landed.
One, two, three. There. I did it for you.
Now we have a very satisfying moment indeed. Adam Clay isn't the kind of person you can just shun and think that life will go on the way you'd like it to. Here, he not only takes down two guards with relative ease, but also destroys the scam call center with an extravagant explosion.
Hang up the phone.
This was such a brilliant moment in the film, and the statement Adam makes by smashing that dude's face with the phone was quite brutal. You know, people like to make fun of Jason Statham for doing the same movie over and over again, but I wouldn't have any problem with that at all. I mean, The Beekeeper was a box office success with a sequel in development, so why would anyone want to stop making badass films anyway? Alright, so now we've got a war between civilians from the First Purge, and it's exactly what you would imagine it to be. The whole concept of the Purge is quite messed up with severe moral implications, but all of that can be pushed to the side for now because this shootout is straight out of a gang war sort of scenario. Dimitri and his people manage to get their revenge from the mercenaries and also end up saving some folks in the process. I'll say that this film had loads of action, with this scene in particular being very badass. It's kind of like how the boys would be when they're playing laser tag, but of course, without the lethal weapons.
As I live and breathe, the devil himself.
He shall appear. Let's get these wise men some more weapons.
Ça coûte mieux que le castor.
You know, Naru could actually audition to play John Wick's daughter. The final fight between her and the Predator is obviously the main sequence from Prey, but let's also appreciate the battle she gives the French trappers just so that she can save her dog. See, this is the kind of passion that would make you worthy of comparisons with the Baba Yaga. Anyway, the skills she showed here were extremely badass. Because even though she wouldn't have been a threat to the trappers via simple combat, she did use her knife skills to the fullest, and that's what allowed her to aura farm here. It may not be as awesome as her taking out a freaking Predator, but it's still good enough to get into my top 10.
And as for you, Mama, judgment time.
Man, Carl Urban was already a threat to Homelander well before the boys. Look at him playing Dredd here. He's nothing less than a Giga Chad Pro Max as he counters his opposition with savagery and nonchalance. The scene where he lights up those clueless fools was amazingly badass and showcased why he's such a great character despite a surprisingly low box office performance. Man, that image alone with the flames in his visor should have been enough to demand a sequel. There's no unnecessary drama or posing here. The dude's just here to do a job and he does it professionally as he can. Yeah, these are the lead actors we want spearheading such movies.
Incendiary.
You can put Tyler Rake in a prison or in front of a collapsing star for all I care, he's not going to be held down. The battle and breakout of the Georgian prison was an epic display of action, and Tyler does what he does best, wreak havoc. Like the car scene earlier, this is also a specific part of a longer take, but it's definitely the most engaging one, so it lands at number 8. Jesus Christ, just imagine the number of people they would have needed to get the shots done right. Also, let's not forget about the actors playing the prisoners here. You can sense a certain level of rage and aggression from them, and that really contributes to the chaos of the scene. In many action movies, dudes like these aren't all that scary, but in this movie, they're actually giving us dangerous vibes. They actually sell the fact that they're hardened criminals and used to violence.
Freezing. Why are we walking?
You jacked your car keys, bruv.
Shit. Move, bruv.
Man, Eggsy may be the protagonist of the movie, but bro always wants to land in some kind of trouble. The bar argument may have definitely spurred him on, but it was freaking disrespectful to steal bro's car and do some donuts in his face before taking off. I love the whole sequence of the scene because it progresses instantly without seeming rushed. They really nailed the British lines too, because nowhere else in the world are you going to hear such dialogue, and trust me on that, okay? Yes, I'm obviously also including the car chase, because who doesn't like to watch the main lead try to steal a car and evade the cops right after? I'm not quite sure if Harry Hart would have approved of this kind of behavior.
It's a car.
Yo, Rock, what'd you do? Did you leave Mick and Polly at home today?
All I'm saying is that if you need somebody to help you, I'm happy to keep your boy warm for you.
Yeah, there's only one mad dog here, and his name is Tom. It's kind of funny that Mr. Hardy pulled out such a great performance playing a character who shares the same name, but I'll tell you what's not funny, the way he brutally demolishes Mad Dog in the ring. Now look, it's obviously cool and all to see Tom flexing his fighting skills, but the look on the coach's face after witnessing his best fighter getting completely wasted was priceless.
Don't give him your back. Don't do it.
It's that shock and awe that sells the scene for me, because it's the direct effect of bro being an absolute Chad. No wonder Tom Hardy loves Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
You owe me $200.
Look, I know it ain't fair to Kane, but it's prison, and this is exactly how things go down there. Of course, it helps if you're a terrifying beast like Scott Adkins, because that means you can beat up your bullies in an instant without having to worry about your own health. Yeah, Kane does get the raw end of the deal when he gets stare stomped. But the scene in question is when he goes absolutely ham at the inmates and gives us a display of brutality very rarely explored in movies. I never knew a freaking plate could do that much damage, and I also feel bad for the dude who burnt bro's eyes. He definitely got the worst treatment. It should be one of life's most valuable lessons that a man in shades has a lot to hide. Now, Hit and Run may have Dax Shepard playing the lead role, but it was Bradley Cooper's character Alex Dimitri who totally steals the show.
Why don't you stop worrying about what I feed my dog and worry about surfboards or whatever the it is you think about?
I just don't know if you realize how much better the good dog food is for your dog. I mean, yeah, it's 10% more expensive, but it's like 80% less poison.
And I don't just mean by his outfit or choice of hairstyle. He gets into a bit of an argument with a dude while buying some stuff, and let's just say he wasn't too thrilled about his choice of dog food. Look, I get they want the best for everyone's dogs, but choking the man with his own dog's leash and then dragging him across the floor after which you feed him dog food is probably a bit extreme, right?
Compressed sawdust, and we're not leaving here until my man samples some, okay? You got it. Just eat it. No. Trust me.
I can't eat that shit, man.
Why not?
I can't. I'd rather die.
For a normal family man, I'd say it was nice to see bro finally channeling his inner rage. The first time we saw a Purge movie, it took us all by surprise given the concept, but kudos to Ethan Hunt for playing a man who gets charged up with his family's lives on the line. He's actually a pretty smart operator given the fact that he finishes off his unconscious enemies, although I do feel the smartest move would have been to travel to Canada or something during Purge night. Okay, this one has no mercy, only violence. Tyler Rake has become something of a dominant force on this list. It's his third entry today, but can we even argue against his merits? Just look at how brutally he beats up these dudes. I honestly would have preferred getting shot down than getting smashed by a freaking table. Or what about the man who gets slammed against the broken wall's edge? And yeah, don't even get me started on the final guy whose last sight was that of a freaking rake. I'm pretty sure the directors were like, look, his name's Rake, so he's got to kill someone with a rake too. Crashing in and beating up the enemy is a kind of skill, and we can leave it to Jason Bourne to get that job done. His fight against Desh was as intense as it could get, which is why it claims the top spot. However, the real MVP here was the cinematographer Oliver Wood, who'd unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But yeah, this sequence perfectly captures desperation as neither party holds back and is genuinely fighting for his life. The sound and editing was so on point that the movie won Oscars for them, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Desh should have definitely made a run for it after Bourne picked up that book, because no one escapes getting beaten by the power of knowledge. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video that I know you're going to enjoy. If you're ready to turn your goals into reality, visit strawberry.me/TV Regent and claim your special offer.